They have cut my food stamps from almost $4,000 a month down to $88 a month. They are telling me if I want a review that I have to sell my car. So you're telling me if you were on welfare, food stamps, cash assistance, Section 8, you can't drive a nice car? They are forcing me to sell my brand new BMW, or I lose almost $4,000 in food stamps. Not only that, they have taken my cash assistance totally away. They are telling me that Section 8 will no longer be paying 95% of my rent, only 10% of my rent. So I will have to pay a little over $400 a month now instead of $60 a month. They cannot do this. They cannot make me sell my car.
No, konon get maman. À la vous en. Go get a motherfucking job. What up, everybody? I am the Mademoiselle, and this is my channel. And as you guys can tell by the title of today's video, we're going to be talking about Doge cutting into welfare. If you guys are not aware, especially if you live in the United States, the Trump administration is now going to be cutting food stamps, Section 8, and other welfare programs. Now, I have so much to say about this. I made a video years ago on the topic. Hopefully I remember to link it down below, but just in case, it really doesn't matter because I still technically hold the same opinions, right? So if any of you guys haven't seen me before or you've seen me before, you would know that I lived in the hood my entire life. I also had friends that lived on Section 8 or lived in affordable housing. And if you're not aware, those are not the same things, right? So Section 8 people usually get a voucher. Affordable housing goes by income. The Section 8 vouchers typically do go by income as well, but two completely different programs. And then of course there are other types of low rental assistance situations. Even with food stamps, there are other programs out there that can assist with food. You have food banks, stuff like that. So growing up in the hood was interesting, right? So I grew up in a neighborhood that was classified as the hood, not necessarily the projects, right? The projects are typically Section 8 housing. Again, not the same thing. I'm going to try to put something on the screen for those of you guys who don't necessarily understand the differences, right?
Like Section 8 doesn't mean that they pay nothing. So they get a voucher. It's like a blue form and they're approved for a certain amount. So not only is there an amount that their rent can be, there's a portion that the government pays and there's a portion that they pay. It is illegal for you as a landlord to take the government's portion and not make sure that the tenant also pays their portion. And so I've seen it as low as the tenant paying nothing or like $50, and then sometimes the tenant pays $700 or $800 of that. It's all based on the income from the job that they have, how many children they have, all those kinds of things.
So one thing that we all had in common is that we all ran in the same circles. It didn't matter whether you was on Section 8, lived in the hood, was on Medicaid, whatever, disability. Like typically you will see a lot of these people live in the same types of places, but do not get it twisted, right? A lot of people have this common misconception that it's mainly Black people on public assistance. No, it is not. Okay. A majority of people who are on public assistance are actually Caucasian. And what's very interesting about this whole topic is a lot of people who are on welfare are gaming the system. They found a way to be poor on paper. They found a way to receive benefits without reporting it to the government, either by not doing their taxes, not reporting their full income, being married, not reporting it.
Guess which race has the highest percentage of people on Section 8?
So the vast majority are definitely Caucasian. And I only know this because I've been a Section 8 investor the last 10 years. And I'm gonna share the dirty secret about how some of these folks are still living six-figure lifestyles while qualifying for government assistance. 7 years ago, I had an 8-figure mentor teach me all about leveraging OPM and trust structures. Now, his friends and associates have been gaming the system using these trust structures for decades. They're using other people's money and credit to buy these assets that the trust structures own. All the income that's coming from these assets are going directly to the trust. As a trustee, they can pay themselves a little bit of nothing every year, therefore qualifying for Section 8 or government assistance if they choose to. The income also allows these trustees to pay for trust expenses. Think about all the needs of a beneficiary: school, clothing, daycare, shelter, you name it. Now they also have the resource to set up something like a private family bank. So while you're getting judged on your W-2 income, they're able to pay themselves based on the acceptable poverty level.
So there is so much that I have to say about this. So there's going to be a lot of pausing. Remember, I am a commentary and reaction channel. If you don't like that, click off. Okay, bagueton. Additionally, this is more than likely going to be a multi-part series because there's just so much to go through. So yeah, make sure you guys subscribe for that. And for those of you guys who are interested, I did open up memberships on this channel. And of course, I do have a Patreon for extra support. For those of you guys who want to join, here are the perks right here on the screen. Thank you guys so much in advance for joining the membership. And thank you so much if you are already on the Patreon. If you guys are looking to join the membership, but you can't find the button, that's because a lot of times you do have to go on desktop, or you can click on one of the available videos and it will lead you to join the channel. Sorry for the inconvenience, YouTube be doing too much. Now, when it comes to this video, I didn't know how I wanted to do it. I didn't know if I wanted to do it reaction style. I didn't know if I wanted to do it rant style. So we're going to do a little bit of both. So let me say straight up, right? I feel genuinely bad for the people who are some way, somehow getting their food stamps or public assistance mistakenly cut, or who fall into that caveat. I've talked about my parents in a lot of my family situation and living situation for a long time. So my parents always fell in that threshold of needing shit, but couldn't qualify because it's a couple of dollars here, a couple of dollars there. And I will say, yeah, like it's also affected my finances. Now I'm, helping my parents with a lot of things, hence the GoFundMe that I had. So I will say my heart goes out to y'all. And I really do hope you guys figure it out. But for the rest of you guys that's been living on this from generation to generation and feel like you do not need a job, you don't need to do shit, you have too many kids, the government is scamming you, all of that, suck your mother. Point blank period. Suck your mother. Okay? I don't give a fuck. Like, get momo, suck your mother, all of that. All the curse words in the Caribbean book, because it's not fair that there's people out there that cannot get these services because a lot of you guys are living off the services that you do not need because you refuse to work, you refuse to tell the truth on your applications. And yeah, I said what I said.
Hey family, I'm back. I found out something else. I don't know if y'all heard or not, but Trump is getting rid of that Section 8 and EBT for these people that don't want to get out here and go to work. Your time is up, baby. Y'all, I know most people like us really not feeling Trump, but I'm kind of feeling him on what he's saying about this. Now, how many of y'all have family members, friends, people you know that's been living off Section 8 for 20 years? They rent $3. They don't go to work. Not that they can't go to work. They don't want to go to work. Now, let me say this on the sidebar. They do have some people that need Section 8. Some people that, medically, they can't go to work. Or, they just can't physically. I get it. I'm not talking to y'all. I'm talking to these ones that your mama been on Section 8 all her life, and she ripping and running and doing this and doing that, and then you seen she was on Section 8, paid $3 rent. So now you, as a young girl, because you done got pregnant and you got a baby, you go run out there and get on Section 8, and you ain't working, and you having child after child after child, and y'all all on Section 8 getting food stamps, $1,000 a month. And no, that's all about to stop. That's who I'm talking to.
I 1,000% agree. It is absolutely insane how many people I know who grew up on food stamps, moved out, still on food stamps, because literally they're passing off these Section 8 apartments like generational wealth. That is not generational wealth. Public assistance is exactly what it is. Assistance. It's not something that you should be using as a crutch for your entire life. It is something that you should be using when you need help. It is something that those who cannot work, those who are down on bad times temporarily, should be able to have access to. It is not something where you should be on it and you out here flexing, you wearing designer, you pushing foreigns, you got all the designer snacks too. Like, this shit never made logical sense to me. Now, one thing a lot of people need to understand additionally, before we even get into all of this, is that Section 8, affordable housing, living in the hood, 3 completely different things. Sometimes a lot of them are synonymous, but it is not the same thing. You can be on Section 8 and not live in the hood. You can be in affordable housing, but be nowhere near any Section 8 properties. There are a lot of independent landlords, and I guess bigger landlords that take Section 8. Like, it's a lot that goes into it. But nonetheless, I feel like these things are supposed to be tools to help. Okay, there is no reason why you are literally 25 with 6 kids living on Section 8, not working because I don't want my food stamps to get cut. I don't want my Section 8 to get cut. Get a fucking job, bro. Whether that is working at McDonald's, being a content creator, working in the medical field, going back to college, getting something higher, whatever it is, you need to get your life together. This should not be something that people are able to just do and have for the rest of their lives. And I think this genuinely pisses me off because I've seen people that really needed it, right? Like, I've seen people that literally tried to apply for Section 8, tried to apply for Medicaid, tried to apply for food stamps, and didn't get it because they made $100 over. Didn't get it because, oh, well, they only have one kid. Shit, my parents were those people. They finally just approved for food stamps, bro. And that is specifically because my father is disabled. But my mom working, like literally all those years back in the day, they used to try to apply. But since they only had one kid and she was working and my dad was working, they never gave it to them. But I mean, I'll say, right, so I grew up going to private school and stuff like that. So I'll say they didn't necessarily need it. Their expenses were ridiculous because what the fuck was I doing in private school? Y'all couldn't afford that either. But that's for another story for the time, okay? I talk about that all the time on my personal channel and stuff like that. So go check that out. But y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Like, I've seen people that really needed it. Like, my parents specifically fell on hard times when I was like in middle school. And it was to the point where now my dad couldn't work. Okay, now it was only my mom working. Still didn't let them approve for food stamps. There were times where we were literally about to be homeless. Okay, got evicted numerous times. Still couldn't approve for Section 8. So it's just crazy to me that there's people that's out here wearing designer, got the best foods, got the best cars, and there's niggas out here that's literally struggling. I don't like it. And I feel like that's part of the reason they're out here cutting shit. That's the reason why the government is like, nah. Additionally, we have the panoramic. And please don't be coming in my comment section talking about, oh my God, you don't know what the real word is. What the fuck is a panoramic? Stop being fucking stupid and use context clues. Obviously, I know what it is, but on YouTube and a lot of other social media sites, you have to be very careful with the word. So sometimes you'll hear it, sometimes you won't. So stop being dumb and use your context clues. That's another reason they cutting down on all of this shit. Everybody want to be dumb. Everybody want to make everybody do shit for them. You need to do shit for yourself. Use your damn heads, okay? Like, this shit is insane. I will say, though, I felt like welfare always needed a time limit. It needs to be something where you have to work at least 30 hours. It needs to be something where it needs to be something that you could only be on it for 5 years. I say 5 years max. I think that's perfect time. I've heard that it's going to be 2 years, 3 years, whatever. I feel like it needs to be 5. I think 5 is enough time to go to school. Okay. If you go to get your bachelor's, I think it's enough time to go get an associate's, go get a trade, start a business, whatever.
That's enough. So for us people that goes to work, that's working, he said you got to have at least 30 hours. Okay, 30 hours a week to qualify for the program. All right. So most of us that work on a regular basis, 30 hours ain't nothing to us. This is what we do. So guess what? We gonna be the ones walking around in the grocery store with the big baskets because we deserve it. All these years, they've been letting people with no job. They walking around with 2-3 baskets full of groceries, and us hard-working people, we got a little handheld basket with 2-3 items in there because that's all we have left out of our check. And they sitting around getting fat food, eating lobsters and shrimp and crabs and all this other good food, and we can't even eat that. And we the ones going to work. So I'm glad Trump didn't flip the switch, baby. So all y'all that's living it up right now, that's able-bodied to go to work, and you're choosing not to go to work, you better get ready. Because, baby, y'all finna get them notices. And them notices gonna come soon. And like he said, real quick. And those of us that go to work, we ought to be able to go and apply for some food stamps and see what it feel like. To be able to go in the line and slide a card with pride. Because it's not for the ones that don't have nothing. It's for the ones that's working to have something. It's our turn now, y'all. So I'm telling y'all right now, if you able to go to work, you better get out there and start filling out them applications. If you want to have a place to live.
Now, I will say, right, the only thing I don't agree with in terms of them cutting food stamps and Section 8 and stuff is how fast it's happening. Like, yo, Trump came into office and said, no, fuck all that. And I'll say it would have been great if they had some sort of grace period, if they had some time, because a lot of people, like I said, like she said, like a lot of people are saying, have lived off of this shit for generations. They grew up on Section 8. They grew up on food stamps. Like, it's, and I know there's a lot of people that's probably going to comment like, okay, well, the fuck, like okay, I get it. But I feel like you have to have a transition for these type of things, because these things do not just affect the people that are getting these benefits, if that makes sense, right? These changes are going to affect landlords. They're affecting HUD employees and people who work in these types of offices. So if you're not aware, they're also cutting hours. They're cutting job positions. They've reduced the budget significantly. And from what I also understand, they've also started cutting funding for a lot of different organizations that provide food. So that's the only part of this I don't like. Like, I feel like if you're going to do something drastic about this, you have to make it fair, right? Give these people time to transition, maybe 3 months, 6 months, whatever the case may be. Additionally, there needs to be some sort of game plan, some sort of like bridge to get these people to get these jobs or get food while they wait to figure out what they're doing, because this is going to more than likely cause an extreme homelessness crisis. Did I say that right? You guys understand. A lot of people are going to become homeless because of this. A lot of landlords are not going to be getting paid, so they're going to throw people out on the street. There's a lot of people that's not going to be able to get food, and they're not going to be able to go to their local food banks, which is going to cause a lot of unrest. Okay, from what I understand, by the time you guys see this, I don't know when I'm going to edit and put this out, but I heard there's going to be a protest. People are going to be protesting the Trump administration or whatever. Like, is going to cause more people to be doing all types of bullshit. And we all know, especially lately with a lot of these protests, people going to be looting. People going to be stealing from businesses. Like, you already have Walmart out here with these secret shoppers that are following people around the stores to make sure that they don't steal. And that's mainly because the economy is so shit. People are resorting to illegal activity to survive. And although I agree with the initiative, I feel like there has to be a bridge.
I got a DHS letter in the mail this morning, and I just now opened it. And somebody reported me to the state of Michigan because I'm making money on TikTok, and I drive a 2024 BMW.
So first things first, the sound on this is trash. Trust me, it ain't me. Second of all, bitch, DHS is forcing me to sell my 2024 BMW or my food stamps get cut from $4K to $88 a month. They also cut my cash benefits and telling me Section 8 will no longer pay 95% of my rent. What do I do? So I've been watching this lady for about a week now, right? I haven't watched all her videos thoroughly, but she's basically upset that all her government funding is getting cut. I'm talking about she's on food stamps. She got Section 8. The government pays for her children's child care. Like, I think she gets cash benefits as well. Like, she literally got the works. Now, I will say, I feel like part of me feels like this lady might be trolling, because every day it's something else. Oh, they cut my food stamps. Oh, they're forcing me to do this. And it's like, they can't force you to do anything. If anything, they'll just be like, hey, we noticed that you've been working since that date. You did not report it. You need to pay us $1,000 back, $10,000 back. But they can't force you to necessarily sell anything. But comment down below if this is something you've heard of, because I feel like this lady is fucking trolling. Like, all her videos are just insanely problematic, and she comes off really stupid. Like, I hate saying it like that, but like real stupid. So
They have cut my food stamps from almost $4,000 a month down to $88 a month. They are telling me if I want a review that I have to sell my car. So you're telling me if you were on welfare, food stamps, cash assistance, Section 8, you can't drive a nice car? They are forcing me to sell my brand new BMW, or I lose almost $4,000 in food stamps. Not only that, they have taken my cash assistance totally away. They are telling me that Section 8 will no longer be paying 95% of my rent, only 10% of my rent. So I will have to pay a little over $400 a month now instead of $60 a month. They cannot do this. They cannot make me sell my car.
So, lady, this is insanely problematic. So, the backstory with this lady is also she has like 6 kids. And I've seen a lot of people on TikTok like, oh, I have this many kids, I can't work. Oh, I got so many kids, who's gonna watch them? Who the fuck told you to have that many kids? Nobody told you to have 6 kids. Nobody told you to have 5 kids, 10 kids. It is not the government's responsibility to take care of you. Also understand that the money that goes into public assistance programs is our taxes. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that are like, oh, well, you know, it's only 1%. It's only 2%. I don't give a fuck if it was 0.2%. If my tax money is going to pay for people like this, I don't fucking want it. If my tax dollars are going anywhere, I need it to go to the disabled, the seniors, shit, the military, because bitch, I'm not going to fight. It's great that they fight so I don't get bombed in my sleep, okay? Like, dead ass, like, I have no problem paying for things that actually directly benefit a large majority of people who need it. But when we're talking about people like this, like, nigga, who the fuck told you to sit there and have so many kids that you couldn't take care of? You are not entitled to any of that shit. $4,000, and then you're sitting here pushing a BMW? No, gonna get maman. A la Vouzon, go get a motherfucking job. Now, the thing is with this lady, she has so many videos talking about this, how her shit getting cut, how she can't work, da-da-da-da. And it's just like, bitch, you're making money from TikTok, okay? You're more than likely monetized on TikTok, and that's more than likely why you're getting into this shit. If you are a content creator, so this is the thing, I've talked about this in my Influencer Illusion series, which I need to pick back up on that. So, Sage, stop playing with this plastic. I'm trying to film. This cat, man. The thing is, when it comes to being an influencer, it's different, right? So say if you made $1,000, right? But you had to pay for a camera, you had to pay for, I don't know, some sort of subscription to repurpose your content. You had to pay for CapCut, like all that stuff. It eats away, right? So if you made $1,000, technically you might have only made $400 because it's probably $600 worth of expenses, right? So then you end up having people who technically make $100,000 a year, but on paper they only make 30 because they have $70,000 worth of expenses. Maybe they have an editor, maybe they have an assistant, maybe they have a whole bunch of like other things that they pay for to create their content. So it's like, yes, they made $100,000, but no, they're operating at a loss. That's why a lot of millionaires, billionaires, content creators, stuff like that are able to get away with these things and be on public assistance because technically on paper, no, we're not as rich as it looks. Like a lot of this takes money. My camera, the iPad, the lights, all of that takes money. Assistants, all that takes money. So that's why a lot of them are able to get away with this. And also you have people that just don't do their taxes. They don't report the income at all. And obviously, for certain people, you can get away with that for a long time if you're not making a lot of money. So for me, I do YouTube full time and I'm also a dance teacher. I'm a Zumba instructor. So I literally put in over 30 hours a week on top of doing my content creation. So if I could do that, you could fucking go to work, bitch. Like I just don't get it.
So I just got my food stamp letter regarding my cash assistance and my disability because somebody reported me and they denied me for all of it. So me and my kids were getting disability. I was getting cash assistance and I was also getting food stamps. And they shut me off on all of them. I did an appeal. I just got my letter. So with this new 2025 food stamp that Trump is trying to pass or is passed, if you are an able-bodied person, you have to go get a job. If you want food stamps, you have to go get a job. So I either have to go get a job or I lose my food stamps. But if I go get a job and start making money, then my disability, it gets canceled. So how does that work? Because
this is what I'm talking about. There's people out there that literally will not work specifically because they're like, oh, I get some sort of public assistance, government assistance, therefore I can't do this, I can't do that. Yes, the fuck you can. You're choosing not to because you're comfortable. We need to stop becoming comfortable with any type of assistance because what happens is, right, now I've heard a lot of people, especially in the Black community, talk about this in terms of there's a lot of people in the Black community who've become so comfortable on food stamps, so comfortable on Section 8 that they refuse to do anything. The government has literally been accused of incentivizing single mothers, multiple children, no fathers in the home, because what happens is there's a lot of women out there that they go get Section 8, they get food stamps or whatever the case may be, and they end up being in relationships, right? They end up living with their man, they end up getting married, and the shit gets cut. Because, well, they feel like you can figure it out together because you can. That's a 2-income household. And that's the main reason my parents never got accepted for shit. Now they finally got accepted for food stamps. Can you comment down below how much you think they got accepted for? Comment down below. I want to see what you guys guess, right? This lady pisses me off because my parents got accepted for $72 worth of food stamps. But thank you so much. But thank you so much, State of New Jersey, because they added $25 to that, to make it like 90 something dollars. I think it's 90 something somewhere, but I know it's less than 100, but it's in the 90s, right? And I'll say, shit, it helps. Shit, that's better than nothing, right? My dad is permanently disabled, if you guys are not aware. Like, he had a whole situation. He was in the hospital for half the year last year. So my mother is the only income. I help where I can, but it's coming to a point where it's eating at my expenses. That's why I had to GoFundMe. Like, y'all understand, right? So it just pisses me off that there's people out here getting hundreds of dollars of food stamps, thousands of dollars worth of assistance, and there's people out there that need it. Like, I've seen people literally have to resort to like living on people's couches, having roommates that are toxic, all types of shit, because they could not approve for any type of public assistance. And it's never anything serious, right? It'd be like, oh, they make $10 over, so they can't approve you. Like, are you fucking serious? Like, that's another thing that needs to be changed as well. They need to have some wiggle room, because there's people out there that really do need these programs.
I was on food stamps, I was on cash assistance, and I was on disability. Me and my kids. What I make should not matter for my kids' disability.
Does their kids have?
Am I right or am I wrong about that? And my TikTok income is not considered a real job. I have to go get a real job if I want to keep my food stamp. But then I will lose disability if I get that job. Help me out, State of Michigan. So I just got my...
Ma'am, get a fucking job. That's the help. That's the only help I could tell you, which is advice. Go get a job. Okay? Nobody has time for this. This shit is not cute. This shit is problematic. And I will say the whole point of all of this, I would assume, is to get the economy back together. I don't think this is going to help the economy get back together, by the way. I feel like it's going to make things worse. But you know how they say it gets worse before it gets better? Maybe that's going to be the effect that this has. But for the people that's been mooching off the government, I'm sorry. You need to get a job. Section 8 is not generational wealth. Food stamps is not something that should be used to just do whatever the fuck you want. And then on top of that, there's people out here selling food stamps for cash. Oh my God. Like, it's crazy. And I grew up knowing this shit, right? Like, I grew up knowing that people do this for a living. So it's just interesting to see what the fuck is going to happen.
I don't know if you guys heard the news, but Doge, led by Elon Musk, has proposed making significant cuts to the Section 8 program. Now, this will affect about 3.5 million low-income families and landlords and property owners who depend on those payments from Section 8. They are also talking about reducing the Section 8 staff by 50%, resulting in delayed payments, delays in inspection, and all things Section 8. Now, here's my personal opinion. Of course, I can sympathize and empathize for people who depend on those programs. Having family members and people within the community, I know how this news may feel scary to them. But the truth is, Section 8 was never created or intended for people to stay on for a lifetime. I do believe there should be time limits, maybe 5 years, so it gives you enough time to go back to school, find a trade, get some training where you can secure employment to get housing where you can go in the market and pay those competitive rent prices. Also, it gives an opportunity for the new people and a new group who can benefit from these programs to be ushered in. Also,
see, I completely agree. That's exactly where my opinion stands as well. I also feel like people are not talking about the fact that this is going to have like a really bad domino effect. Like, it's going to increase the demand of shelters. It's going to increase the demand of churches or everyone else. Like, because it's like, people are going to lose their shit, like literally lose their shit. Like, there needs to be some sort of grace period here. Cause like, I'm low key, like, I'm thinking about it. I know so many people on Section 8. I know so many people that get food stamps. Like, it's insane how many people I know. that get these services. And I'm just like, some of them I'm like, yeah, bitch, you have a job, you've been lying, you've been hiding it. But some of them it's like, hold up, no, like you need this. But also that is something that you do need to keep in mind. For the people that actually need it, more than likely they'll be fine. This is mainly applying to people who legit can work, don't work, and they're just sitting here racking up on government benefits.
Hey y'all, I'm back. I wasn't gonna touch bases on this, but my daughter said I should. So earlier this week, someone posted about Section 8 as a trap. Let me tell y'all something. They were born and raised on Section 8. Okay, like a lot of us, born and raised. I personally wasn't, but a lot of people was born and raised on Section 8. Okay, they grand, they making 8 figures, 6 figures, but their mama still living in Section 8. You got to make that make sense. So they words to me is go through one ear and out the other. Okay, you can talk about the credit, you can talk about all that stuff, but baby, if your mama still where you left her at, baby, you got to make it make sense. I can't. Everybody don't want to be a homeowner. Just facts. Everybody don't want to be a homeowner. Even for the ones who are becoming homeowners, salute. Make sure while you becoming a homeowner, you're teaching your kids what it takes to keep and sustain that home. A lot of people don't. They die, and them children, you know what them children do? Them children sell that house. They sell that house because one sibling don't want to stay there. Isn't it crazy? Because siblings can't get along all of a sudden. County workers got Section 8. Section 8 workers got Section 8. MTA drivers got Section 8. Baby, you trying to think, what you think all of them pay $3? Don't play with Miami-Dade. Don't play with high.
So the funny thing about that is, right, so I think that's also why they're cracking down on this. There are too many people that are government workers, okay? People who work for these offices that are also on Section 8, also getting all types of government assistance, but then they sit here looking at everybody else. No, you need to look within the offices, which I guess that's why they're cutting jobs and moving things around and stuff like that. But it's very interesting because it's like, I'm shocked that it took them this long to figure this out. And I know there's a lot of people that are probably like, oh, well, that's not that serious. What about the people doing this? At the end of the day, you can focus on multiple things at the same time. We do it all the time. Okay. People are literally going to have to figure it out. Just like the rest of us have had to figure it out. I've had hard times. I've had situations where, you know, I wasn't financially capable, but I figured it out. And I feel like, just like what a lot of these people said, niggas have gotten comfortable. Okay. Niggas have gotten comfortable with the idea of, oh, well, I don't need to work. I don't need to get a job. I don't need this. I don't need that because yeah, I got food stamps. One of the most interesting misconceptions about Section 8 and government housing, affordable housing, all of that is that it's ugly, right? It's dusty. It's dirty. You know, I will say a lot of it is ghetto as fuck. All right. A lot of the projects are ghetto as fuck. A lot of them are dirty. A lot of them are probably places that you probably don't want to be caught at night. But especially these days, Section 8, baby. Section 8 is giving.
Cause I'm bigger, better. I'm a bad mama chama. What? Even in pajamas.
Look better than my apartment that I'm paying money for.
If y'all were not mad before, you're definitely going to be mad now at Section 8 tenants. My Section 8 tenants that were getting free rents for life, the government is now allowing them to buy the rental property that they were living in. And check this out. They don't have to pay a down payment. They don't pay PMI. Their interest rates are between 4 and 5%, and they don't have to have good credit. But wait, it gets even better. For me as a Section 8 investor selling the property and for them as a tenant, the housing authority will allow them to go up to 15% above the asking price. So on a $100,000 property, they can offer up to $115,000 on that unit. So if they're competing against you, the regular middle class, and they have no income, they don't have to. And they can now offer more than you're able to.
So, right, if you didn't know, yes, you can buy a house on Section 8. I didn't know this until like a year ago. And I understand, okay, just like the previous lady said, not everybody wants to be a homeowner. But if you're going to live off of something like Section 8, get a fucking house. I feel like if you're going to hustle the government, if you're going to scam the government and all of that, you know, use the system because they use you all the time, all that bullshit. Why didn't you buy a house? Like, I was so shocked when I found this out last year. I was like, bruh, so these people are choosing to live in the projects and pass this shit down to generation to generation. Y'all are choosing to live in rat-infested apartments. Y'all are choosing to live in the hood with niggas selling drugs to your kids. Like, I don't understand. And again, like I said, not all Section 8 housing is like that. Not all the projects are like that. But there are a good majority of them that are. And obviously, I come from the hood. Therefore, when it comes to those buildings, I've been there. I've seen it. So I'm just like, you have the opportunity to buy a house on Section 8 with no damn money, and you are choosing not to take it. Y'all are tripped the fuck out. I obviously don't want a house right now either, or else I would have been had one. But one thing I do want, whether I live in it or not, is a condo. Like, I really want a condo. The reason I don't want a house is because I refuse to mow lawns. I refuse to do any type of maintenance. I don't give a fuck. I like the fact that I could hit up my complex like, hey, the toilet is not working. The fuck? If I own that house, that means I gotta call a plumber. No, I don't want nothing to do with that. I genuinely don't. I got ADHD. I got too many things to worry about. And if you have ADHD, you know. Like, simple things like replacing the toilet paper could be too much work. Okay, so it's like, I don't want to do any extra work that I don't have to do. I also would much rather get a house with my husband, okay, with my man. We'll be getting married. I don't want to have a house by myself and have all that shit fall on me. The fuck? Like, no. So I feel like, yeah, I get the sentiment of not everybody wanting a house. I feel like if you don't want a house, don't get one. But if you have an opportunity like this where you cannot pay shit, okay, literal nothing, okay, or little to nothing, take that opportunity. It's funny because I have a lot of friends that are also landlords. I have a large network of people. That's what happens when you go to college. You meet all different types of people, right? I also lived in Elizabeth, where it was a huge city, right? Elizabeth is the 4th largest city in Jersey. Elizabeth specifically has at least like 10 high schools. So literally by the time you graduate high school, you got a network, bruh. Like, it don't matter if you go to college or not. You know so many people. Someone gonna get you somewhere. And it's interesting because I know people that have lived on Section 8 their entire life, generation to generation. I got people that are just extremely successful landlords, business owners, stuff like that. So I have a good majority of friends who are real estate agents, who are landlords, and they are people that rent to people in Section 8. And I will say, people live crazy. Okay, I also have friends, family members that have government-based jobs where they do these inspections, right? They're the ones that are selling these properties, and they're like, yo, people live disgusting. But they've said that no one lives worse than people on Section 8. And I'm like, really? Like, it can't be that bad, y'all.
And so for those of you wondering, this tenant was Section 8. You know, so I definitely have my work cut out for me, like, you know, getting everything redone with this. And you can see, she told me this was left. She did tell me, she's like, oh yeah, like, you know, this is left. You know, so, and then you can see, like, if I can show you a video how these kitchen cabinets looked beforehand, and then all this tile, all this was all brand new.
Are y'all serious? Look at this damn floor. That's just filthy. Like, literally, I clean every week, and I also do a midweek clean, like on Wednesday. So, which is weird. Sometimes Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday. I start my cleaning on Thursdays, and I clean every Friday. So this is just unacceptable. Like, do y'all not wear socks in your house? I wear socks. Are you a socks or sandals person? Comment down below. Like, so this would freak me out.
I bought this building back in 2019, and everything, I redid everything. I actually have videos that are on my Instagram page from 4 or 5 years ago when I redid this entire apartment when I first bought the building. So apparently, she didn't tell me about that. Apparently there's some water damage somewhere. And then somehow, I don't know how she just did this one I'm just looking at. Somehow they pulled like the cabinets like off the wall, damn near.
Bruh, like, y'all are wildin'. Like, y'all, Punya, how y'all gonna explain that? How do you explain the cabinet being like this? How do you explain the whole cabinet coming off the wall? Look at that fucking wall back there. Look at this wall. That's nasty. Like, to be honest with you, I feel like a lot of people on Section 8 have taken advantage. Okay, they've sat here in these properties. They haven't paid any rent. If they are, they're paying a little bit of money, so they don't care about how they take care of these properties. For those of us who work, for those of us who pay for our rent, pay for our mortgages, whatever, we take care of our shit. This right here is craziness. I would never leave an apartment in this condition. This is wicked as fuck. Like, this is really, really bad. Like, can you imagine? Oh man. This is bad. Now, of course, this is not all people on Section 8, obviously. If you feel offended about what I said, that means that you probably one of these people living dirty like this. But there's no reason that you should be leaving people's property like this. Like, yes, you live here. Yes, it's your home, but treat it like it. Treat it like somewhere you live and you sleep. Now, of course, hit dogs holler. Even though I just said what I said, hit dogs holler, right? Obviously, right? I don't think that a majority of people that I know were living dirty or bad or anything, which is crazy. Like, I always saw their houses really nice, but obviously I don't know everyone, right? And I know a lot of you guys have probably seen those TikTok videos or those YouTube videos where they're like, oh, watch me redo my Section 8 apartment, watch me remodel, blah, blah, blah. And that's an issue too, because this is supposed to be temporary. This is something, sorry y'all, I was eating yogurt if my mouth looked crazy. This is supposed to be temporary. Why are y'all making permanent changes to public assistance housing? This is how y'all know what I'm saying is valid. Y'all are passing these apartments down from generation to generation like it's something like to be proud of or something. Like, are y'all dead ass like knocking down walls, putting up wallpaper, all types of shit? And listen, I think that you should be very comfortable where you live, especially if you expect to be there for a long time, but not when you're supposed to be on public assistance. That should be something to help you. Not something that's supposed to be permanent. Like, that shit is insane to me.
They honestly need to get rid of a whole bunch of housing authority programs. It's the worst thing that ever happened to the poor community. It should have a limit on it. 2 years. You gotta get you a job and you need to get up out this program. Because a lot of people taking advantage of it. Why would I ever be motivated to go get a job when I live next door to somebody who worked full time? We got the same lifestyle, but you putting a roof over my head for free. As a matter of fact, it's going to motivate me to stay down bad. It's going to motivate me to stay unemployed. And a lot of y'all don't even understand that Section 8 actually means you're crazy. Look up the definition of Section 8. It means you went nuts. That's what they...
Not me about to really look it up. Hold the fuck up. I don't know. I'm seeing Section 8 housing, guys. I'm not seeing anything talking about Section 8 means you crazy. I'm confused. I can't find it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Do y'all get it? If y'all found it, let me know down below because I'm perplexed. I don't know what the fuck this man talking about, but hey.
Call soldiers in the army who they don't trust no more, who went rogue, who have done something that is not what they supposed to be doing, who's not with the team. Section 8 means you have went crazy. That's exactly what it means, honestly. So you got Section 8 living. What do you think they feel about you? I'm going to let y'all do that research. But on another note, if they're really trying to get rid of housing authority programs, just bump it down. Make it so much more harder. Matter of fact, make it uncomfortable to live there. Make it uncomfortable to have. Like homeless shelters almost. You want to get in and you want to get out. Because any...
I'm gonna hold you. Every time I go to the projects, I want to get in and I want to get out. I barely want to get in, but sometimes I have to visit certain people or do whatever. A lot of the people that I know that are on Section 8 out of necessity because they need it, hate it. They hate being there. They don't want to be there. They're trying to find their way out. But there's a good majority of people that don't give a fuck. Like, that shit is just normal for them. And I'm just like, yeah. So what he's saying is true, but also there's a lot of these, like the projects in particular that are extremely uncomfortable, but niggas still choose to stay there because free rent or very cheap rent.
Anybody that's living a comfortable life off of that will never ever be motivated to leave it behind. They're going to teach their kids to be the same. They're going to pass it on to their kids. It's all they ever known. And they gonna keep telling themselves, well, I raised you right. I'm fine. I grew up fine. No, you didn't. Y'all don't own anything. Y'all don't have anything. Generation after generation don't have cars, don't have houses, don't have nothing to y'all name. Nobody ever retired from a job. Nobody have 401ks, nothing. All you got is cheap living, getting by. And you think since you're healthy, we're fine. All right, if that's what you want for your kids.
Speaking facts. He's speaking facts. He ain't say no lies, except for the fact that I can't find the situation with the Section 8 definition. But I'll probably look into that while I'm editing, or one of you guys will comment down below on that. Yeah, I agree. It's extremely problematic, okay? Whether we're talking about white, black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. A lot of people that are on this shit are extremely comfortable, and unfortunately, it does need to stop. A lot of people that are on these programs have been living a life that they truly don't deserve. You don't deserve it because you can work and you're not choosing not to. You don't deserve it because a lot of these living conditions are horrible, right? There's a lot of really nice ones. There's a lot of really bad ones. Personally, I've mainly seen a lot of the really bad ones, and I just be thinking to myself, like, who wants to live like this? Who wants to have this type of lifestyle where literally they're fighting for their lives? So, like, I don't know, bro. Comment down below, what type of Section 8 housing have you seen? Have you been on Section 8? Do you know anybody on Section 8? Do you know anybody that's abusing the system? Because it's just so much that goes into this. Although I truly do agree with them cutting it back, I feel like there does need to be a little more wiggle room. It should be maybe 5 years. Yeah, 30 hours work is great. Also, I feel like it needs to have like a grace period, something these people could hold on to while they transition. I also feel like they should be given at least another year. I feel like it shouldn't just be cut just like that, because it's just going to cause an overflow of people trying to get other types of assistance, and a lot of those programs are getting cut too. So definitely comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your thoughts or opinions. Let me know what your thoughts or opinions are. Also, let me know if you are going to be affected by this. Also, please do not forget, again, my memberships are now open on this channel. Shout out to those of you guys who have already joined. If memberships are not your cup of tea, make sure you guys join the Patreon. Also, if you guys are trying to join the membership but you don't see it on your mobile device, unfortunately, you may have to get on desktop. That's the only annoying part about memberships that I just can't fucking stand. So get on desktops and you will more than likely be able to just press that join button. Or if you guys see a members only video on my channel, click on that and it will guide you to join the channel as well. With that being said, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to see y'all next time. Bye!